So yeah, sorry about that, part two. So I'm glad Bruce Lee was murdered, right? Because his contributions to society, far as of teaching people martial arts, has been demonized and led to the furthering of the oppression of people. Because a lot of federal agents, a lot of CIA agents, they all took up martial arts. Whether it's Bruce Lee's mixed system, Jeet Kune Do, or whether it's Wushu Kung Fu, Wing Chun or whatever, right? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or whatever. Bruce Lee ignited this thought that people should mix boxing with this and wrestling with that, whatever. And his intentions probably was pure, but it was demonized. And we know throughout history, whatever anybody creates, the European colonizer finds a way to manipulate it, use it for evil, and demonizes it. George Washington Carver made a gas mask so people can avoid inhaling certain fumes. We know gas masks now remain on the face of SWAT team members or dudes that's coming in war to hurt and harm and kill people, right? You know, so throughout history, these individuals, the European colonizers, they utilized everything that was created with the intention to better society. They use it to demonize, demoralize, and depopulate society. So Bruce Lee brung the theory of mixing, like, you know, boxing with wrestling, with martial arts and everything. Now you got all type of dudes taking up MMA, UFC, and stuff like that. When I used to go to New York City Sports Club on 124th in Harlem next to Magic Johnson Movie Theater, you will see some of the biggest guys on earth. Dudes is in super shape. But these dudes are Skittles. They lifesavers. They Skittles. They chasing the rainbow. They ticklish. They you know, these dudes is ballerinas. And these dudes know MMA. A lot of these dudes is Golden Glove boxers. They black belts and stuff like that. And you know, the LGBT community has been revolutionized because they knew they had to take up some type of fighting forms to defend themselves, because in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, if you was ticklish, dudes would bully you. Dudes would pick on you, make fun, snap on you. Now you can't, like, disregard that they got more rights than black people right now, legally through laws and stuff like that. But let's disregard that. Nowadays, you pick on a dude and you call him ticklish or you call him a squirmy jellyfish, you might get plucked out. You might get broke up, beat up, knocked out, because these dudes know MMA. They Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters, ground game fighters, mixed with boxing and a bunch of other arts, right? So when I seen that guy on the bus with the Killer Bees uniform on from like his dojo and all that, it was like, how dare this nigga try to take up martial arts? He don't even deserve to be a pugilist, right? And who am I to say that? Like, I'm not authorized to say it or nothing. I'm not God. I'm not the gatekeeper, none of that. This is just my own personal opinion and my outlook on things. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you ticklish, you taking up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Who in your dojo is sparring with you? Because now Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a contact fighting sport, trade. So it consists of wrestling, grabbing, and gripping, and rubbing. And who's letting you rub up on them? Who's letting you grab them and grip up them? You know, that's why, you know, even though Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is effective, I always felt some way about that art form of martial arts, of fighting, because, you know, that grappling, man, that's a lot of humping and squeezing and choking and, you know what I'm saying? Like, so a perverted mind, a dude that's a deviant, but he's a master of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, this is his moment to hump on a nigga until he nut in his pants, or any type of deviant, demonic, stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Bruce Lee caused more harm than good, even though his intentions was to create good. Because you taught CIA agents, you taught government officials, and these dudes taught dudes that taught dudes that taught dudes, and they oppressing us to this day. Now, even though in the martial arts world, we know the fight is only as good as the individual implementing the fight. So a dude can be a 9th degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I can be a beginner in a different system and defeat him if I know how to do what I need to do with my system, and he don't. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, You know, certain things ain't meant for everybody, and certain things need to just stay with its native culture. Like the coqui frog is in Puerto Rico, and I think it's on one more island. It should stay in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? We know elephants only come from two places, Africa and India. Elephants, the African elephants should stay in Africa, and the Indian elephants should stay in India. When you take something out of its natural habitat, or when you manipulate something, or do, or you utilize something to deviate, it disrupts the normal structure of preordainment and a bunch of other stuff, right? But, you know, me as a pugilist, a disciple, an individual, know a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Everything ain't for everybody. And people got to stop doing that, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, like it seems like, according to National Geographic and TV, the Europeans act like they know more about the hieroglyphics in Egypt than black people. Every time you see a National Geographic or CNN or whatever, it's always European people reading the hieroglyphics and inside the pyramids and all that. Like, how y'all know more about all our shit than us? That, like, it's baffling. Like, you know, it's baffling. But, you know, these people is the parasites. They parasitic. They the parasites of Earth. You know what I'm saying? They fucking the water up. You know, they digging up all the oil, gold, and diamonds just to squander and use it uselessly. They pressing up money and saying this money has worth, but the money has no worth. It's just pressed up paper, you know what I'm saying, with no real value, like gold, diamonds, and oil and stuff like that. You know, so, you know, Bruce Lee did more harm than good, though, because he taught these people, and then now these people, you know, a lot of blacks is getting choked out, oppressed. You see a police always jumping somebody, and, you know, they always try to get a person on the ground, you know, and that's where Samba and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu come in at and is good at, because when the person do try to get you on the floor and you snap them in half, you know, that's one up for the people, but... yeah, well, like what made him, and then Bruce Lee married a white woman. I'm not judging his personal life and his love life, because you gotta love those who love you. But it showed you his mind state. He came to America and he wanted social acceptance. He wanted to be a part of the system. He wanted to be liked, and then nobody couldn't do what he do at that time. So he was like a prodigy. He was like rare. He was different, you know, to society. Even though there's black dudes that knew martial arts before Bruce Lee even came to America. You know, they don't talk about that, though. There's different levels of black martial arts. Like martial arts that was developed and created in Africa. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it ain't good teaching people things you know, because they utilize it for evil or for the wrong cause. You know what I'm saying? Especially once you transcend to another dimension, because now you're not there to check them and admonish them. But, you know, this bloggers, man, you know, I'm glad Bruce Lee died, man. And, you know, there was a Muslim brother named Moses Powell, and he was teaching the federal agents and the cops his system of martial arts, which is Sanukas. A lot of the gangster Muslims, or the radical Muslims, or whatever y'all want to call it, the black sheep Muslims, we niggas wasn't feeling that. Like, oh, this nigga's a sucker. Knowing the feds and the CIA oppress Muslims in the Islamic community within prison and outside, why would he teach the federal agents his whole system of Sanukas? And then amongst the martial arts world, amongst the pugilists anyway, they saying that's an outdated fighting system anyway. So I don't know how effective it is in an actual fight, but I knew Moses Powell was a beast himself. But anyway, that's my blog, man, and I know this is part 2, and I dragged it out a little bit, but I'm glad Bruce Lee died. You know, and anybody who creates something and then knowing it could be reversed by the people you're giving your creation to, knowing it could be reversed to further hinder or become a liability to society, you should be held accountable for it. So Bruce Lee is probably held accountable for a lot of people getting killed and being oppressed, because he taught the enemy a better fighting form to enhance them to further pursue their agenda, which is to conquer and oppress us. Iron, intelligence, rule over negative nonsense. Warlord, wisdom and righteousness, law over reckless decisions. Oxygen.